Welcome to Yoga for You. With your host, Ana del Rosal, certified yoga teacher. Yoga is not a substitute for medical attention, examination, diagnosis, or treatment. Please check with your doctor before beginning any exercise regimen, especially if you recently had surgery, are pregnant, or postnatal. If at any moment something doesn't feel right, please stop. It's important to listen to your body. I will provide detailed instruction as you move in and out of poses to ensure your safety. If you have any questions, contact your local yoga teacher or studio. Thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed day. Welcome to Yoga for You with Ana. Today we're going to do an easy class really for the stretching out the psoas muscle and the hamstrings. Our psoas tends to get tight from all the sitting that we do, as well as the hamstrings. So we're going to start this class. You're going to need you can use a block if you have a block at home, but if you don't have a block, I'll show you how to work this. You're going to take your mat and roll it up. If you have a fatter mat, you're not going to need to roll it up as much. If you have a thin mat, you might need to roll it up all the way. I'm going to roll this one up about halfway. And then I'm going to just come to the other side. And I'm going to lay down so that my sacrum, the triangular bone at the bottom of my spine, is resting on it. So, okay. Just going to adjust here. Perfect. And so to get the psoas, what you're going to do is start with both knees bent, and you're just going to hug one knee into your chest. I have my right foot in, and then you can stay here if this is enough for your left psoas, or you're going to extend that left leg. And we're just going to hang out here for a couple minutes. So you may close your eyes and just take a couple of big deep breaths, feeling your belly rise as you breathe in, and then exhaling, your belly draws in towards your spine. So these big, deep abdominal breaths helps us to get into the state of relaxation. It triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest system, to be dominant over the sympathetic, which is fight or flight. And that fight and flight is something that we actually have in our animal brains, the reptilian brain, where when we were kind face to face with something that we need to run away with, our instincts was to either freeze, fight, or take flight, so run. So the psoas had to engage for us to do whatever action we were going to take. And unfortunately nowadays, our brains can't tell the difference between stress of a threat of an animal that wants to eat us, or the stress that we watch on TV, the stress of just day-to-day life. So the psoas can still get tight from that. Let's just take a couple more deep breaths. So it's really important to learn how to relax through the front of the body to help that psoas release. And just take one more full breath here. Good, and then bend that left knee. If that's one on the floor, lower the right. And then take that left knee, hug it in. And you can keep that right knee on the floor or extend it straight out, your choice. And with that leg that's on the floor, I want you, if you're extending it straight out, let the heel come to the mat and flex the foot. That helps you get a little bit more into the back side. And then with the other knee, you're just hugging it in as much as you can. And then again, just find your breath and really just settle into the pose and observing where you may feel some tightness or some tension in the body. And then trying to let that area just soften. So sometimes when we hold poses for a little longer, our body gets that clue like, oh, it's time to relax. You know, sometimes if it's, I'm just thinking it's a sunny day outside, so sometimes it just takes us a couple of minutes to really just unwind from our day and settle in. And connecting to our breath helps us to do that. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. And just 1 more full breath. Good. And then bend that right knee so the foot comes to the floor. Release the left. And then you're going to remove whatever is underneath your sacrum. So if you need to just to lift your hips and roll out the mat, or if you have a block, feel free to remove the block. And then come to lay back down on your sacrum. And I want you to separate your feet mat width apart. We're just going to go for windshield wiper legs. So all you're going to do is you can have your arms down by the side, and you're going to drop your legs over to one side and then the other side. So feet and knees are mat width apart. And just go fluidly, easily. So this is a great exercise to do to get the synovial fluid moving in the joints. And the synovial fluid is what allows for that free flow of the joint, or the femur here in the hip socket. So just easy peasy. So great one if you have tight hips, do this in the morning first thing. Just to get the synovial fluid, the secretion in the hip sockets going, so to create a little bit more ease throughout your day. And then the next time you come over to one side, just hold there. So you have the option here of just staying as is with your legs, how they land, or I'm twisting to my left. I'm going to take my left foot and place it on top of the right thigh. If you're twisting to the right, you can take that right foot and place it on top of the left thigh. And just breathe. So you may feel a release through that side body that you're twisting away from. You could also feel it through the quad a little bit, the upper thigh. If there's any tension on your knee here, feel free just to remove that knee, the left foot on the thigh. So you never want to go to a point in yoga where you're hurting yourself. It's okay to meet your edge, but you also don't want to go deeper. And just take one more full breath. Good, and then slide. If you have the foot on top, slide that off. Inhale, bring both legs up through center, and exhale, just twist to the other side. So if you're twisting to the right, you can take that right foot on top of the left thigh. If you're twisting left, you take the left foot on top of the thigh. If you want, you don't have to go there. And that foot just acts like this anchor, this weight that helps you get a little deeper into the twist. So again, just be gentle with yourself. And just 2 more breaths. Good, and then if your right foot's on the thigh, slide it off, come back through center. So we're going to do just a couple of dynamic bridges here. So feet hip width apart. And they're pretty, as you can see, they're pretty close into my bottom. Try not to, unless you have knee issues, you can go a little further out. Try to have them in as close as you can, and fingertips towards your heels. Press evenly through your feet. And you're going to inhale, scoop the tailbone up towards your knees and curl up. Bring your arms up overhead behind you. And then exhale, roll down. And again, just like this. So inhaling, lifting up. And exhaling, lowering down. Good. 3 more. Inhale, come up. be your guide. And then you begin the exhale, begin the movement. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. So this last time you'll come up and you'll hold it. So you can keep your arms down by your side, curl your tailbone up towards your knees. You can keep your arms where they are. Press down through your triceps, or you can try to interlace your hands underneath your bottom. And that tailbone moves towards your knees, so you can stretch the quads, the psoas. And this is really about hamstring engagement and the glutes. And just 2 more breaths. And 1 more full breath, please. Good. If you're interlaced your hands, release your fingers, and then slowly roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Okay, 1 more pose here. We'll do supine pigeon, or figure 4. Some of you may know it. You're going to take your right ankle, cross it over the left thigh. Flex this foot. That helps you protect the knee. And you can stay here if you like, if this is enough for you. If you feel like that right hip has got a deep enough stretch, stay here. If you want more, feel free to draw that left knee into your thigh and grab either the hamstring. You can also grab the calf if that's available to you. And breathe. So sometimes here what happens is we hike one hip up to create a little bit more space for that right side. So try to keep your hips level. You don't want to create more imbalances in your body. So take 3 more breaths. And take another full breath. Good, and then just release your hands, lower the foot, lower that right foot. So let's repeat that other side. Take that left foot and cross the ankle over the thigh. Make sure to flex the foot to protect the knee. And then you can stay here if this is enough, or if you want, draw that right thigh into your chest, either grabbing the hamstring or the calf, your choice. And breathe. So you may notice that one side you have more flexibility than the other, and just be aware. You can always hang out more on the side that's tender, where there's more tightness. You can hang out on that side for a longer amount of time, just so that you start to let the tight side unwind. Let's take 3 more breaths here, please. Good. And then release your hands, release the foot, release the leg, and just hug your knees in. And you can either rock forward or backwards, or just roll to one side and come up onto your hands and knees, please. So your hands, I'll be right with you in a second. I'm going to fix the microphone. So, hands underneath your shoulders and knees right underneath your hips. You're going to inhale, lift your chest, lift the tailbone, and then exhale, curl that tailbone under, push the floor away, and round your back. And again, inhale, lift your heart, lift your chest, let the shoulders slide down your back. Exhale, push the floor away, and round. And just a couple more like that. So inhaling. So this is a nice, easy pose to help really create that mobility through the spine. And inhaling. And exhaling. Good. 1 more here, please. Inhaling. And exhaling. Good. Come into neutral. Step your right foot forward. Good. So your foot's between your hands. And you can wiggle that left knee back or just wiggle that right foot forward. So I want you here to have that knee over, so you have your knee over your ankle. I don't want you to have the knee over the toes or the foot. So you want to have a 90 degree in that front knee here, please. So both hands onto the right thigh. Take a couple of breaths here. And you're coming forward into the lunge. So you get the quad stretch a little bit, psoas. And if you want, you can raise one arm up. You can bring the other arm up as well if you like, or just stay here with one arm. So as you inhale, think of lifting up out of your pelvis. So you're not just slumping down, but there's actually energy that's pulling you upwards. Good, one more breath. Good, we're going to add on here. You're going to take a hold of your left forearm, and you're just going to lean away from that left thigh. So you're doing a side bend here. I'll just turn to face the camera so you can see. So I'm leaning towards the side of the foot that's in front. So now really getting a deep side stretch, psoas stretch. And take another deep breath. And then inhale, come up. And then slowly lower. Good, so let's just do the other side, and I'll stay facing this way for you. So now that left foot, so you probably have the opposite foot as, that I do in front. You can stay with the hands down. Again, 90 degrees of the front ankle. One hand to the thigh, the other. You can stay here or raise one arm. And just take a couple of big deep breaths. So allow yourself to move in towards that front foot. So the more that, I don't want you to let everything just sink and drop. Still have some engagement through your pelvic floor, but moving forward so you stretch that right psoas. And then if you want, the other arm. And breathe. Good, and now grab the right wrist and lean towards the front knee, so the left knee. And think of hugging your outer hips in here or squeezing the glutes towards each other so that that's where the stability comes from, the balance. Good. One more full breath. And then inhale, come up through center. Lower the hands. I'm going to turn the other way. So that left foot comes back. And just do a round cat-cow. Inhale and exhale. Good, just one more inhaling and exhaling. Good, let's get an easy hamstring stretch. So step that right foot forward. Wiggle the foot forward so you're straightening that leg. You can stay here if this is enough for you, or you can fold forward. And you can have a slight bend in that right knee if you need to. Remember, while you're watching this, if you have any questions, reach out to a local yoga teacher to help you. If you have any questions about poses or your breath, you could always reach out to me. The website is at the beginning. It's, I think, Ana at yoga4uvt.com. yoga4uvt@gmail.com. So that's at yoga4uvt@gmail.com. And then come up, we'll switch sides. So bend that right knee, slide it back, step that left foot forward, wiggle it forward. If this is enough for you, flex the foot so you get the hamstrings. You can stay here or bow forward. And one of the tendencies here is sort of to sway our hips to the left side. So try to keep your hips in line with the shoulders. Or the hips just moving directly back, that you haven't put more weight into one side. Good, take 2 more breaths here. And then come back up. So I'll have you come to sit down. We'll do one more pose. We'll do a forward fold. So legs straight out. If you want, you can use a prop underneath your bottom. If you have a tight low back, you can also bend your knees. It's a nice way to release the strain on the hamstrings to get into the low back. If you're more flexible, straighten the legs. So inhale, sit up nice and tall, arms up, and then exhale, fold forward. Just let your head be heavy. You can let your arms relax. So usually when we start bringing the arms in, those shoulders creep up to our ears, and I want you to let them just soften. And let's take 4 more breaths here. So as you inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, draw that belly in, maybe going a little deeper into the pose. So it could feel like a little inchworm or, a centipede. It creeps forward ever so gently with every movement. Good. One more full breath. And then inhale, come on up. And let's lay on our backs for Shavasana. So I'm going to just get myself ready. So Shavasana is rest pose. It's sort of your dessert after yoga. And you want to let your feet flop open, eyes closed, arms. Hey, just rest by your side, palms face up. And just take a couple of easy breaths here. And then just allow your breath to soften. Noticing that as you relax, your breath becomes softer. So if you have a little bit more time and you want to hang in your rest pose longer, feel free. If you're ready to get moving, just wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a deep breath in. Just stretch your arms overhead. And then hug your knees in. And just gently rock side to side. And eventually just roll into one side. And come up to sit. So find any comfortable seat here. Maybe cross-legged, or if you need to sit up on a chair, feel free. And close your eyes just for a brief moment, if that's comfortable. And again, just take a deep breath in. And exhaling all the air out. And again, just one more deep breath. And out. And then bring your hands to prayer. And just take a moment to give yourself thanks for just pressing play and doing something that's good for your body. Taking time to relax and breathe. Thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed day. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste.